Some of the most powerful movies deal with very important subject matter and a very timely message. Now, the Gloria has both of those things, but do they make for an excellent movie? Let's go ahead and talk about it. What's going on, you guys? James here with another real review, and today I'm diving right into The Glorias, directed by Taymor, who also directed Across the Universe, and it stars Alicia Vikander, Julianne Moore, and Janelle Monae. And outside of the outstanding cast, I was really interested in this movie because of the person it surrounds, which is Gloria Steinem, who is a very, very famous, world-renowned women's rights activist, and she's incredibly important. I love what this movie stands for. I love what the message stands for, but again, does it end up being a really good movie? Before we get into what I loved and what I didn't really like about this movie, guys, if it is your first time here at the channel and you like reviews just like this and you want to see them early, go ahead and hit the big red button below and subscribe to the channel and tap on that bell so you join in on any review that I drop. And honestly, there's a lot more videos coming this week, kind of like Legend of Korra reactions Tuesday and Thursday, a couple of more Netflix movies, and hopefully some more content on the weekend. I can't wait to get into all that with you. Again, if you haven't, go ahead and smash that like button and get loud in the comments below. Let me know what you think of this movie. If you've seen it, do you love it, do you hate it, or were you a little disappointed? Alrighty, so let's get right into it, guys. Again, this surrounds Gloria Steinem's childhood, 20-something-year-old age range, and all the way into adulthood. It's a very multi-layered film with a story that is incredibly timely and a lot of very heavy emotional moments that this movie explores. Gloria Steinem is, of course, a women's rights activist, and she was very world-renowned that she was coming up because of everything she stood for in a very unpopular time to stand up for women. It was really, really interesting to see how this director laid everything out, because I'm guessing that the book was probably really long and there was a lot to dive into. And that's the thing about this movie, it is 2.5 hours long, and you better get comfortable because, guys, you feel all of those 2.5 hours. And I almost forgot to mention, it's on Prime Video September 30th, so check it out when it drops. Okay, so let's get into what I liked about this movie. Now, the film is different, of course. The director, Taymor, directed one of the best films that I probably have seen in my life, Across the Universe. I love it. I think it's inventive, has an artistic style and a direction that's very unique to her voice, and I really was interested to see how she would handle something more serious, something less artsy and more grounded like The Glorias. And when it came to those moments where she needed to get grounded, I feel like the movie did an okay job at that. Again, Taymor gave us this chance to learn a lot about Gloria Steinem. I don't know who that is. I learned about Gloria Steinem because of this movie, so that is a win in and of itself. And this movie definitely wants to hammer home the message that women deserve to be treated equally in society. I agree with that, and I think that even in the workplace they need to be treated just as equally as men. I don't especially love the scenes, because it's just not enjoyable, of these men catcalling Gloria and calling her names, and it really... boy, it hurt my heart because I was so frustrated. But the thing is, that was the intention of the film. It was to place you in those moments in time and hopefully make you feel something. And the movie does kind of showcase all of this in a very unique way. Like I mentioned a little while ago, it's in 3 phases. It deals with Gloria as a child, Gloria and her 20-somethings, and then of course Gloria as an adult. The way it does handle all 3 of those isn't the best, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. Now, I would say the biggest positive that this movie has to offer really is the talent. Our leading ladies are nothing short of either good to great. I love Janelle Monae in this small role. I wish she had a bigger role, but here, in every scene she's in, she capitalizes. Julianne Moore and Alicia Vikander are also really good. Of course, both of them get the lion's share of screen time in this movie, but the standout for me really was Alicia Vikander. She's awesome. She really just separates herself from the rest of the movie, and I really think that the strongest parts of these films were found in her scenes. When the movie really hits its stride and flows very well is when we were exploring Gloria Steinem in her 20s, when she goes to India. There's this beautiful campfire sequence when she comes back stateside, and she's trying to, of course, break out in this journalism space, which is male dominated, and she wants to tell stories that aren't being told for women by women. And I love that. I love the entire build-up to her becoming the adult that we know she is today. But outside of that, The Glorias really isn't the strongest film that I've seen in 2020. So let's get into what this movie didn't do very well. And that starts right off the top with the technical choices. Taymor, of course, has this awesome vision. She sees movies like not many directors do. I mean, across the universe there were some trippy scenes, but it was fantastic. I was fascinated as an audience member. But here, I think the editing and the structuring of the story was all over the place. When the movie first opens, you see Gloria Steinem on this bus. It's black and white, and everything outside the window is color. However, it never felt like it meshed, and then it transitions to her as a child, and we continue to get this unchronological order, if that is an actual word, but nothing flows in time. It kind of just intertwines with one another, and I didn't necessarily love that, and I didn't hate it, but the thing is, it was too jarring too often, and it took me out of the movie. And when it comes to the structure of the story, I understand that Julia Taymor wants to showcase Gloria as a kid, and then use that to tell the story of her as an adult. But the problem is, way too often are we really engaged with, for example, Gloria in her 20s, and then all of a sudden it goes to her as a kid, or it goes to her as an adult. And then it starts to go back and forth a little too often, to the point where I almost got exhausted. It wasn't confusing, it was just questionable. Why pull away from a scene that I'm fully engrossed in, only to go back to this very early period of her life that didn't necessarily hold as much emotional weight as the scene I was just in. I mean, the tone was also really confusing, because for me, this movie's rated R, and a lot of the subject matter it dealt with didn't feel very heavy because they almost played it way too safe. And that brings me to my next point, guys. The subject matter is important here. This is going to be one of the more important movies of 2020, but the movie doesn't always convey that emotional weight very well. And again, I was really wondering where the direction of this film was headed. In the beginning, I felt like, okay, this is very Disney, and I can't believe it's rated R. And then at some points I felt, oh my god, here's where they dig deep into my heart and really make me feel the pain that Gloria's feeling. And that never happened. And the Glorias really did have that feel of a very copy-paste biopic. It just felt like it was going through the motions. And then when you were getting in that third act, I figured, okay, here's the crescendo, here's where they hit the home run. That never happened. I actually just hit my elbow. Okay, that hurt more than what I was watching on screen, and that's not good. Then there are moments where I'm like, whoa, Julie is going out of left field. It's very artistic. There's one sequence that pays homage to the Wizard of Oz, and you'll know when you see it. But I was thinking to myself, this is the kind of direction, this artistic style that I figured would separate this film from all these other biographical movies. Unfortunately, we don't get that often, but when we do, it feels out of place. Overall, you guys, the Glorias is not lacking in the acting department. I feel like our leading ladies are really good, and Gloria Steinem's story deserves to be told. There's a lot of emotional moments in this movie, and some that really tug at my heartstrings, but at the same time, the movie never really felt like it made an impact. It didn't break through that second layer, and it felt a little safe. While Alicia Vikander really is the standout here, she just wasn't enough to save this movie, because this film is 2.5 hours long and relies on 3 very important phases that it never really delivers all the way through. So again, I think there is a better film in here. However, without that focus that Julie Taymor usually has, I was left feeling really disappointed, and that stinks because I really wanted to love this film. Alrighty guys, well there you have it. That's my review of The Glorias, a movie that I know could have been so much better, but I want to know your thoughts down below in the comments. So let me know if you love this movie, if you didn't like it, or if you're checking it out on Amazon Prime Video this weekend. Also, don't forget to smash that like button, and go ahead and hit the big red button below if you haven't already, and subscribe to the channel. Tap on that bell so you stay up to date with anything new. And also guys, thank you so much for your love and support. We are so close to 3,000 subscribers. You guys are blowing my mind. Alrighty, y'all. Well, I'm gonna go work on my Legend of Korra reactions and a few more reviews for the week. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you at the next screening.